Hi, my name is Jack Anderson, and I'm here to lead you through the third part of the presentation on the aftermath of the highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1 that affected the United States earlier this year. Since I'm not currently at Texas Tech, I'm a student at Kansas State University, I'm going to be leading this part of the presentation from a virtual stance of a recording. To begin with, the geographic distribution of H5N2 spread mostly throughout the Pacific Northwest and California, and then up north through Minnesota and Wisconsin, with isolated areas in southern Colorado and New Mexico. If you look at the map that is developed by the USDA, you can see that the U.S. is divided into four major flyways of bird migration routes, which are going from the Pacific and then the Midwest and Mississippi, and then the eastern one, north to south. And you can see the tracing of patterns where the avian flu affected different poultry crops. The cause is because the birds go from the north to south in their migration, and from south to north in the spring and in the fall. And so we expect that there's the potential for another outbreak in the fall and the winter as the birds continue their next seasonal migration. These flyways are monitored by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. The Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO of the United Nations, has currently been working with USDA to enhance its IMPRES-AH system, which is the emergency prevention system for animal health, and it's basically their giant database that they've been working to link a whole bunch of different national and regional databases to be able to investigate and to pinpoint exact influenza events. And so far, they've looked at 843 epigenetic linkages between influenza events, and they've had 387 validations for H5N1 HPAI, which is highly pathogenic avian influenza in 2015. This means that they've been able to basically sync a bunch of large databases as have never been done before. And luckily, the U.S. has had the foresight to give the FAO $87 million since the event earlier this year to track AI events in the future. So this system is now a lot more bulletproof because they're being able to access OpenFlu, GenBank, EmpressI, which is another related UN database, and IRD, and they're all integrated this November to cross-check events this fall and winter and into the future. And they've also unified laboratory protocols and algorithms around the world, which is a considerable reach for the FAO, and it's an amazing thing that they've done with very little funding and quite quickly. I wanted to show you a quick video, which is the USDA Week in Review, kind of to keep you up to date as to what's happening right now with USDA and what is their current programming. So this is the Week in Review from September 11th, 2015.
USDA is gearing up just in case avian flu breaks out this fall as migrating birds head south. USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service is testing wild birds for the virus in 43 states. APHIS has also hired over 500 quick response personnel to go to places where avian flu is found.
They are going to be called upon to get on a plane and go to wherever the outbreak is and to serve at that outbreak site. So they are a mobile, deployable staff, and it's something that we've needed for a long time.
Avian flu can spread from wild birds to commercial poultry, killing the birds in devastating flocks. APHIS is asking poultry owners of all types to remain vigilant.
This is an exciting and substantial change for the USDA to be able to actually send people into the field in large numbers on short notice. And it's great that they've been able to work in this measure after the current outbreak. Basically, the objective of the USDA is to balance the effects of intervention with the need to quarantine and isolate these animals and to be able to prevent any kind of crossover into human infections. So I thought this was a really useful guidance that was issued by APHIS, which is the part of the USDA responsible for inspecting animal and plant health. The USDA's fall 2015 HPI Preparedness and Response Plan has been the most significant outcome of the avian influenza that happened earlier this year. That outbreak caused the USDA to review the fact that they didn't really have a significant plan in place. I mean, there had been a previous outbreak in early 2000, and there was one back in the 1980s that were fairly insignificant compared to the amount of cull that they had to do this year. And so I think it highlighted the necessity for a preparedness and response plan. And in the response plan part, they basically determined that the 2015 AI incidents in the U.S. It stemmed from the commingling of these highly pathogenic Asian strains that had come over through migratory birds with the low pathogenic avian flu strains that had been gestating in the United States and in Canada. And basically they commingled, and they created this most recent strain that was quite deadly. They figured that from this particular strain the worst case scenario would be that it could claim infections in over 500 producers nationally, which could significantly affect the output of production in the United States over the next year. And as a result, they've been determined to strengthen biosecurity protocols, working with the other appropriate federal agencies. The USDA's preparedness response is to begin by coordinating state and industry stakeholders. They're determined to initiate responder safety training, and this is going to be done under the single umbrella of a IT support mechanism developed by the USDA and its contractors to be able to unify all of the standards for safety training across the U.S. They're also hoping to increase the capacity for radical depopulation of stock. When there's an infection, it's important that they're able to intervene quickly and to control the outbreak and to rapidly depopulate infected farms and to quarantine them and make sure that they can get them cleaned up and back online as soon as possible. The additional thing is that they're also planning on cataloging and stocking the needed supplies. They already have a significant amount of supplies on hand, but they're planning on increasing it for the estimates of a worst case scenario. Finally, the last four parts of the preparedness and response plan that they have issued is they're preparing the laboratories across the U.S. for diagnostics. The quicker they can get information on what's happening, the better they can track things and launch a strategy for intervention if necessary. In addition to that, they're also planning on supporting further research into avian flu, and in particular, they're trying to find any kind of zoonotic mechanism by which it could transfer into a human population. They're also reviewing their public communications. If you've noticed previously, I showed you the weekly report, which is kind of a thing that they're beginning to do, which is to keep the public up to date through different types of media, such as YouTube videos and websites, and actually more than just the standard press release. Finally, they just issued the other day on November 30th a second call for new vaccinations. So they've already got a couple of companies working on vaccinations, but they have decided that they wanted to create another pool of vaccinations just in case, and have more contractors on hand to help and prevent any kind of future epidemic. So I wanted to thank you for watching this presentation, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, and I appreciate my partners for letting me send you guys this video. Have a good day. Thank you.